was killed. Our own Jennifer Griffin, who has been covering Usama bin Laden for at least 10 years, live for us now at the Pentagon. Jennifer, I understand you have more information on one of the choppers used in this operation that had to land with a mechanical failure. What's the new information?
Well, the new information is that it actually had to land in the compound itself. And those scenes of fire that you're seeing at the compound, that's because when the Navy SEALs left, before they left, they had to detonate explosives to blow up that helicopter so that any valuable technology was not left behind. So that was a significant glitch in this raid. It was not intended. We're told it was a mechanical failure. These were Chinooks and Black Hawk helicopters, 4 of them that flew from Afghanistan with the squadron of Navy SEALs on board. 24 Navy SEALs rappelled out of the helicopter into the compound where Usama bin Laden was, I'm told. But again, one of those 4 helicopters had mechanical problems and had to literally hard land into the compound. And so all of this happened. We are told that there were no U.S. casualties as a result. All U.S. Service members left the compound and were not injured or killed in the actions that took place tonight. 5 people were killed at the compound. Usama bin Laden was the only body that was taken away, I'm told. There was also a woman who was, they tried to use her as a human shield. She was killed. There were 2 brothers who were couriers for Usama bin Laden, who were the owners, we're told, of the house, or assumed to be the owners. And there was also an elder son of Usama bin Laden. We don't have the name of the son, but that son was killed. Those bodies left behind. Usama bin Laden's body was taken. The choppers that came for the SEAL team landed outside the compound. And then at 2 a.m. Eastern time, we understand that after being given a Muslim burial, Usama bin Laden was buried at sea. Gretchen?
Do you know if there are any plans yet, Jennifer Griffin, to tell us if anybody was actually being held right now from that compound? I mean, the way I understand it, there's 3 separate families. I imagine there's some survivors, and would they just let them go?
Well, it's a good question, Brian. Right now, I'm told that the only body that was taken from the compound was Usama bin Laden's dead body. I was not told of any prisoners that were taken. We've not heard any reports of that, and I did ask officials that, but we'll certainly follow up because, as you said, there were 3 families living there. There are some survivors. The question is, did the Pakistanis move in? This was a military garrison town. There is a large military presence there. The compound that was 8 times larger than any house in the area, was 100 yards from one of the elite training facilities of the Pakistan military. This is a long-time military town, and the question is, did the military rush in and try to arrest any of the family members who were left behind? Because there were some survivors, we're told.
Well, also, Jennifer, I'm interested in knowing, and maybe you haven't gotten this from your sources yet, do you think that the only target was Osama bin Laden, or do you think they intended to also kill those 2 couriers, or they just got in the way of the gunfire?
What I'm told is there was an extreme firefight that broke out. What I'm told is those 24 SEALs rappelled into the compound. They very swiftly identified Usama bin Laden. He's not hard to identify, very tall, as you remember. But they asked one of the non-combatants, I'm told, from a U.S. official, they asked him whether that was Usama bin Laden. The non-combatant said, yes, that's Usama bin Laden, identified him. They then tried to ask Usama bin Laden to surrender. Very quickly, it was clear he was going to resist. He was shot in the head, I'm told. And on the scene, they did a photographic identification of him on the scene at the time of the killing. They have photographs. They have not released those photographs. We've asked repeatedly to U.S. officials, both here at the Pentagon and elsewhere here in Washington, to release those photos. They have not done so as of yet. But they do have those photographs, Gretchen.
Jennifer, just one other thing crossing the wires right now. It says the Pakistani Taliban has threatened attacks against government leaders, including the president, the Pakistani army, and the United States on Monday after the killing of Osama bin Laden in the country. That's not surprising that they would want some sort of pound of flesh.
Not surprising at all. In fact, we know from intelligence sources here in Washington that they will be analyzing, they have been analyzing all night, the active threat streams against Americans abroad as well as here in the U.S. They are analyzing those. They're going to give a full report to the president later this afternoon at the White House. They have been expecting retaliatory attacks, and that's why the State Department also issued a worldwide travel alert, something very unusual from the State Department, telling Americans to be vigilant because they do expect for Usama bin Laden's death to possibly trigger retaliatory actions.
Despite that, look at the celebrations overnight outside the White House. Jennifer Griffin, live at the Pentagon. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jen.